Yeah, I mean, Bayern, of course, I mentioned it already. Uli Hoeneß coming from a position of strength, that 6-2 win. I need to say something and clear this up for the record. When Freiburg were up 2-0, I was thinking, yeah, this is a great story. And then Stefan wrote in a chat that we are in it, they're going to win this game 4-2. Well, Stefan, you were wrong. You were
So
absolutely wrong.
5-2, yeah.
They won that game 6-2.
Oh, jeez.
um, I mean, unbelievable performance by Bayern Munich. This kid, Lennart Karl, is just the way he's been playing as a 17-year-old is phenomenal. And it's a hard thing to do in a team like Bayern Munich to come in and step up. And he's getting more minutes with Luis Diaz being suspended for 3 Champions League games. I suspect he's the one on the short list to come straight in, and rightfully so. He's earned himself that place, and he's probably, if he continues to play like this and stays healthy, fingers crossed, gonna be in that World Cup squad as well. But it's so many things are going well for Bayern Munich. I mean, they couldn't have scripted it better. They could go into the season with a squad that many deemed too thin, and then you had not one but 2 talents stepping up. There's players now coming back, healthy. They might find themselves in a situation soon, Stefan, where they won't know what to do with players like Musiala and Davis when they come back.
That was literally the point I was going to raise. So you took the words right in my mouth, because I didn't catch this game, I watched the highlights, but watching them thinking, where the hell did he squeeze Musiala into this team?
Yeah.
It's so bizarre that, and I'm probably not the first person to raise this point, but it's so bizarre that Bayern have a head coach who is known for such stalwart defending as a player, and he has taken this club to maybe not new heights, but former heights in terms of just this kind of gung-ho attacking football. Only 2 clubs in the Bundesliga have conceded more set-piece goals than Bayern this season. They're not really amongst the worst offenders in that regard among Europe's top league, but they're certainly about mid-table. Defensively, I think they are still a little bit wonky. It's worth noting that Freiburg probably could have scored 2 other goals in the first half. Obviously, I think Besta came close, and then I think there was a chance it was technically offside, I suppose. But Bayern just did what Bayern do, and I think maybe Ole Hoeneß, sorry, was maybe watching the way that Upamecano just kind of tapped in that goal from the corner, completely unmarked, and maybe that was what kind of spurred him on to say, right, we maybe do need to start having some more competition, because this is getting silly. Because there's already been like 3 or 4 occasions this season where I've watched teams just give up against Bayern. And it seems to be happening more and more and more.
Freiburg did give up. Yeah,
they completely
100%,
gave up,
yeah.
and it's really frustrating, because, I mean, in any game of football, like the manner in which the game turned against Freiburg, you can understand by the time they got to like 4th or 5th goal going in, people were just going to throw their hands up in there. But I don't know, that wasn't a great look for the league. But having said all that, this is also a Bayern team that completely dismantled PSG in Paris. They'll be coming up against a very good Arsenal side. You could certainly argue as to the importance of this game, since both teams have already kind of picked up enough points in the group stages. But it's going to be really interesting to see how they do against an Arsenal team that are strolling to the Premier League titles so far, maybe based off the back of Man City and Liverpool imploding more than anything else. But Arsenal looked very impressive against Tottenham on Sunday, so that will be a better yardstick, I think, to compare to judge this Bayern team rather than Freiburg. But no, fair play to Bayern, and Kompany just hasn't put it wrong. He's brought young players in, they're attacking very well. We'll see if that defence can kind of shore itself up when the time comes, but for now, yeah, spot on.
Yeah, I do think you're quite right. The Champions League table, the way it is set up, both Arsenal and Bayern are going to be in the top 8, right? Which gives you a bye in that first round of the knockout stages. Having said that, I think both of these teams really want to make a statement. This is arguably we're going to find out, I guess, who is the best team in Europe at the moment by form.
Just want to add on Lennart Karl. Thought he was out of a series of good performances. This was his best yet. I think the biggest compliment I can pay him after Saturday is that Harry Kane had a relatively quiet game. He only scored one, but I thought the way Lennart Karl played was reminiscent of Harry Kane, mainly in the way that he was dropping deep, as Harry Kane often does. He was winning balls in deeper areas. He was turning midfielders. He was driving into space and then laying the ball off and then arriving late in the box himself. All of these qualities that we've praised Harry Kane for as having added to his game since his arrival in Munich. I thought Lennart Karl did an extremely good job of doing that on Saturday. So yeah, even despite the fact that Harry Kane had one of his quieter games, I thought Lennart Karl absolutely slipped into his all round shoes. Really impressive.
17. 17. That's unbelievable.
Can I jump in with some absolutely bonkers Harry Kane stats that I stumbled upon from my newsletter this week, which just sums up the mental season he's having. So, despite Guirassy actually having a higher non-penalty XG than Harry Kane this season, so just think about that for a minute. Guirassy has more XG than Bayern outside of penalties. Kane's got 4.5 to Guirassy's 5.09. And Kane's only hit one more shot on target than Guirassy. He's got twice the goals than him. He's got 10 compared to Guirassy's 5, if I'm not mistaken. Kane is converting 38.3% of his shots, and Guirassy's converting 18.5%. And that's not to say that Guirassy's had a bad season. I think Guirassy, well, you could definitely argue Guirassy has had a bad season, but in terms of his actual stats, his conversion rate is actually pretty normal. It's the fact that Kane's are insane. And we saw that in that game and that goal. Like, extremely fortuitous the way the ball kind of landed at him, but he pounced on it. He pounced on it perfectly and scored that goal.
Same against Union Berlin, Stefan. I mean, that cross came out of nowhere and he's there. You know, he wasn't there the entire game and then boom.
Yeah. And he's out for England as well. I'm sure Matt could say, and the fact that he just seems to be the absolute very top of his game right now. It's working very well for him in Bayern.
I have a vote at the Guardian 100 list, and as part of the voting process, and we're not supposed to reveal who we vote for and how we vote, but we get 40 votes that we rank.
Where are you going to put Odrago?
He's not on the list, but Harry Kane was. Without saying where I put him very, very high at the moment. I think he is. This is probably the best he's been his entire career.
In terms of pure goal scorers, I think maybe only Haaland can compare to him. To be honest with you, even Mbappe's probably dropped down a little bit below him because part of my job is to kind of track both those players, and Haaland is kind of a step above Mbappe in terms of pure goals this season, and I think Harry Kane's the only one that can compete with him. And it just kind of compounds these really strong victories that they seem to be kind of lapping up with these this season for sure.